morning, internet. My name is Ash, and today I've decided to make a bold claim that isn't really that bold, and to try to upset as many people as possible with a topic that isn't really that upsetting to begin with. Oh, but trust me, internet, I will do my best work. Let me get this out of the way first. I've never believed in talent in my life besides when I was like 8 years old and was amazed at everybody who did amazing things ever. But my belief was largely hypothetical for a long time. It kind of aligned with the whole idea of, oh, if nothing metaphysical exists, which is something that I personally believe in, then talent shouldn't exist, right? It's remained in that kind of hypothetical state for a long time, but now I think I have enough real-world understandings and reasonings to actually explain this point a lot better. Okay, I know this is like the 4th video in a row in which I've involved guitar in some way or another, but it's just something that I have a very clear understanding of that I can use to explain concepts that aren't related to it, so just bear with me for a second. I gave my first guitar lesson yesterday as of writing the script, but almost a week ago as of recording this video, and 2 weeks ago as of the release of this video. And you know how teachers are always saying, a good teacher learns as much from their students as the students learn from them? Full disclosure, spent my entire life thinking that was bullshit, probably because it is. Like, the girl I was teaching definitely learned more from me than I learned from her, but that doesn't mean I didn't learn anything. There were so many phrases that I thought made sense but didn't make sense, so many things that made her nervous that I didn't think would make her nervous, so many things that I thought were just natural human instincts when really there's something I've trained into myself over the years after 7 years of playing this instrument. After having played the damn thing for half of my life. What? And actually experiencing that kind of thing firsthand really drove home the point that, oh yeah, nobody's born knowing how to do shit! Except for crying and shitting. That's like the one thing that we all know from birth. But like, even that! And that experience really made me think, and it made me think that this message kind of needs to get out there way more than it does. Stop looking for talent. Talent doesn't exist. So go practice the thing you want to be talented at. Well, I say that, and it's an inspiring message or whatever, but then again, watch this. Quick reminder that Alexander Misko is 23 years old. My god. I was reading the back cover of the Anthropocene Reviewed when I saw a blurb that somebody left saying, John Green is one of the best writers alive. It was praised for The Fault in Our Stars, and it came from E. Lockhart. That's a pretty tall claim, but then again, anybody who's read anything by John Green can probably believe it. And the existence of these two titans of their crafts, John Green for literature, Alexander Misko for music, especially Misko because he's only 23, my god! They made me question that maybe talent does exist? Maybe it's just rare, or maybe it's just something that you need to unlock. Maybe it's something that's aided with hard work and practice, but definitely helps. Especially when you consider that Alexander Misko has songs on his channel that are still incredible that came out when he was, what, 14, 15, 16, only like 4 or 5 years after he started playing. I mean, I'm in my 7th year, and there's no way I could do shit like this. I mean, I'm in my 7th year, and there's no way I could arrange or write shit like this. Okay, let's take a moment to reflect on that statement and recognize the audacity of this bitch! Saying, I can't do what he does, therefore some people are just born better is the most egotistical statement ever! And it can get even more self-centered and pompous when some people believe that people like John Green or Alexander Misko are brought up in some kind of secret academy in the middle of nowhere in Siberia or Indiana. Some strict school for the gifted and talented with a bunch of crazy teachers in the middle of the woods in the winter, where Alexander Misko first touched a guitar when he was pulled out of school at the age of 3 to be trained, with his teacher telling him in his first lesson, see this called Uzi. You play right note now, yes? I can confidently say that this statement is wrong, just through logic alone. For one, Alexander Misko and John Green both openly share how much education they have to the public, and neither of them went to any kind of prodigy academy. But also, if such an academy existed, even if it doesn't have that many students, don't you think that there would be others, maybe not exactly at that level, but at the very least in the same stylistic category going in that similar direction? And yet some of Misko and Green's biggest strengths is that they're praised for being unique, that the only people that are similar to them are clones! So no, Asians, or in this case Russians/Floridians, are not brought up in some kind of prodigy academy where the teachers kung pao their chicken into submission. Turn your attention to Eric Clapton. Mr. Lila, please! Time Magazine's 5th best electric guitarist of all time, guy who profited off the death of his 4-year-old son who jumped out the fucking 53rd floor window. Yes, that is exactly how he died. No fights for social justice, no cancer, no harassment, no nothing. Literally just a fucking open window. Eric Clapton was once quoted saying that it's 20% talent and 80% practice. Oh boy! Like, 20%? 1 in every 5? What the fuck, Eric? What do you think you are? Do you... What? Is it like some people have 19%, so the highest they can ever go is 99%? Do you believe that you have all 20%? Or is it just fifths or whatever? But either way, this is a ridiculous statement! Are you trying to complain that some people can practice 20 hours a day for a motherfucking year and only reach like 80% of somebody who practices 6 hours a day for a year? What the fuck? This statement gets me so riled up. Like, this statement is supposed to be inspiring in some way. How is this inspiring? If you end up on the wrong side of that statistic, then there's just nothing you can do. And it's the type of statistic where there's enough people that have it that it leaves literally no room for people that don't. How is that inspiring in any way, shape, or form? I don't understand. Does that mean you literally are incapable of going from 0 to 100 because you are born at 20? Like, what? Okay. Remember what the therapist told you, Ash. Come on, deep breaths, calm down. It doesn't matter what stupid guitarists say in interviews. Okay, let's ignore Eric Clapton for a little bit because, let's be honest, even if you do believe in talent, most of you watching probably don't believe in that fucker's bullshit. I'm attacking Eric Clapton, when a guitarist that I am known to admire literally just released a song called Why You No Love Me. Is this a smart idea? A lot of people do believe in talent in just a very insignificant way, saying that it's more like an 0.1 to 99.9% ratio, with very, very rare cases in which talent prevails, like that 14-year-old diver in the Olympics that never went to one of the special schools they have in China for that stuff. Or Shakespeare, for instance, or Mozart, who started composing at an impossibly young age. It's that last one that really brings up a lot of questions, but I think it provides some answers too. He legitimately did start when he was at a stupidly young age. Actually, what age did he start composing at? I'm gonna look it up. How old was Mozart when he composed his first piece? Leaving the question of what the fuck aside, but here's the catch. We can't know all the details of Mozart's upbringing. That's just impossible. There's not enough records. As goes history, we can't know whether that was maybe some kind of folk tale or a dramatization that was created later on, and critically, even if it was true, which it, let's be honest, probably was, we can't know how much help he had. I'm not trying to discredit Mozart in any way, shape, or form. I'm just trying to bring something to your attention that might make you a little bit more skeptical of these ideas. And also, I'd like you to turn your attention to opera. Mozart wrote 22 operas, I believe. Some of them were unfinished and some still were collaborative projects. Most of them were in his native German, but also a handful in Italian and even one in Latin. Why is this significant? Well, we credit Mozart as being a musical genius, but the existence of those operas prove that he wasn't one at all. And no, I'm not trying to discredit Mozart operas, just listen to me before you dislike. Opera, or any choral piece, or really just anything with lyrics to go with it at all, changed the medium. It's no longer music in its pure form. Once you get lyrics or words involved, you're delving into the world of literature, which of course is something that Mozart excelled in when he delved into it. He just didn't do much of it, so it proves that he was quote-unquote talented in more than one thing. What Mozart had wasn't talent. It was brilliance, a high IQ, no doubt about it, and a propensity for learning that aided him in pretty much everything that he picked up. The fact that he ended up going into music was a combination of the fact that his father pushed him in that direction, that he was born into the aristocracy, and just pure chance. Think about it. The composer Borodin was also an established scientist, Mendelssohn was an established painter, and Prokofiev was a chess master in Russia. These people weren't talented musicians. They were brilliant and intelligent individuals who stumbled across music by chance. So that's a big misconception cleared up, which probably accounts for a lot of people that people consider talented, but that doesn't mean that we've discredited the entire idea from existence. It just means that we've narrowed down our definition. So let's define it. Talent is not the same thing as brilliance. Brilliance makes you better at pretty much everything you do if you put enough time into it because you're smarter. Talent, on the other hand, is a natural propensity for one specific thing that makes you better at doing that one thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're smarter, just that you are more apt at that activity. Imagine that one kid sitting in the corner of the class with the notebook, for instance, cooking up masterpieces as the hours just pass by, not paying attention in English class or taking any kind of courses, but still being amazing at it nonetheless. Becoming a famous writer who published a lot of bestsellers at a young age, only to later plunge into depression when they realize that they've got to work hard, otherwise people without talents that also work hard will catch up to you. The talent alone isn't enough. What?
You never played Tuber Simulator.
Hold on a minute. There's already a problem here. First of all, surely somebody so talented would know that they need to practice to be good even if they have a natural propensity towards a thing, right? The whole narrative of the burnt-out prodigy that quit something at a young age after being some kind of child master that doesn't realize they can't progress without practicing as much as their peers is just so bizarre to me. And the idea of somebody just understanding something like that while other people around them struggle, well, that can be explained by other means too. In school, everybody had a favorite and a least favorite subject, or subjects that they liked and subjects that they disliked, and generally speaking, you were better at the subjects that you liked. In my case, that's English and social studies. If a person has a mindset of actual interest, of wanting to know more about a topic, then they'll absorb information better. I've discussed this in many videos in the past, but ego is the opposite of learning. If you believe you know everything, then you're not gonna absorb more information because you think it's bogus, because you think you know everything. But low self-esteem is also kind of a barrier to learning because you're not really taking in information. Instead, you're just kind of assing out of your bitch. Instead of bitching out of your ass about it, finally got it right there, you might actually develop a genuine interest if you stop complaining about how difficult it is and realize that if you're interested, then you can just absorb as much information as possible. And ask questions when you don't understand. That's the key thing here. In a lot of cases, quote-unquote talented people are just really interested in a topic, and that's what makes them good at it. If you're interested in something, then you're not too scared or too confident about it, you spend more time doing it because, again, why wouldn't you? And you learn more efficiently because there's nothing forcing you to do it other than your own mindset. It makes you push yourself because you realize that everything about this one subject is nothing short of fascinating. And it makes you practice more because why wouldn't you? Now, there are exceptions to this rule. It's not always born out of interest. Take, for example, the virtuoso violinist Paganini. I'm pretty sure anybody who knows anything about classical music would definitely consider him talented. Fun fact, Paganini's father literally would not let him eat, drink, or sleep unless he practiced enough that day. Yeah, that's what makes a virtuoso, apparently? No was so depressed and a raging fucking alcoholic before he was like 30? Have we not considered that talented kid burnout doesn't come from a realization that you need to practice, it comes from that! Or maybe it's not driven by outside factors, but it's not driven by pure interest either. Take Kurt Cobain for an example. He often used music as an expression point and as an outlet for his bipolar disorder. And John Green famously says that part of the reason why he likes writing fiction is because it provides a way out of himself to escape his OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. Here's the thing. All of that is just mechanisms that drive a person in a certain direction. Brilliance, interest, mental health issues, occasionally autism, these are all things that can drive you towards a specific idea. All of these things aren't exactly things that you can control, at least not directly. For example, I can't control my interest in, say, geometry, as in, I have none. Sometimes those things drive you towards a skill, and sometimes things just align. Maybe it pushes you towards something just because you like it, maybe it pushes you towards that thing because it helps you cope with something that you might have going on. Sometimes it forces you to use it as a respite from the chaos that's happening outside of it. These are just substitutes for one thing. Willpower. Talented people don't have an extra sensory organ that makes them better at something than everybody else. No, talented people are just people with the ability to be diligent in a thing because they like it or because they're driven to it. To have a goal and meet it with every resource at their disposal with a healthy dose of intelligence added along the line. Personally, I think it's really weird that we see science as cold and calculating while we see magic as warm and fascinating. We think of the idea that every human thought is just chemicals as a nihilistic idea, but like, why? Chemicals are fascinating! Isn't it amazing that every piece of information that is going to you is just wavy air? Isn't it amazing that every piece of information that is going to you is just waves in the air? Isn't it fascinating that our bodies are built up of the same material as stars? Honestly, I could make an entire video on this topic, but I digress. We aren't born knowing how to do anything, but using a combination of passion, of interest, of willpower to develop a diligence towards a skill, humans have the ability to create incredible things just by doing that. Isn't that more amazing than just saying that it's inborn or saying that it can't be explained? I don't know. I'll pass the question off to you guys. And furthermore, I'd also like to pass off the question, is the thing that I just described in the video your definition of talent? Because honestly, I don't know. We describe it as some kind of metaphysical force in the majority of conversations about it, but I don't really know. Maybe talent does exist, just in a different form than we all realize. Maybe it does exist in the material world. Maybe it's something in your brain. Who knows? Maybe it's different from brilliance. The definitions can be blurred, so I just leave it up to you guys, but I'll leave it here for today for now. Thank you all very much for watching this video. I sincerely do hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, comment what you thought, and for now, this is PDB Ash, signing off.